it's in everything. Everything that is savory has garlic. This is where American consumers are going to feel the impact the soonest. You know, when we start talking about this tariffs, everybody's like, oh, well, the price of your cars are going to get more expensive. When was the last time you bought a car?
Yeah, like 19.
Right? So the average American, I don't know, that's 5 years, 10 years. How often do you buy food? Every single day. And you are the final step in the food chain, right? You're the end consumer. So you are going to eat it. There's another one. I just came up with that one. Today, we're digging into one of the most powerful ingredients in your pantry, garlic. But we're not just talking about its legendary flavor. We're talking where it comes from, how it's grown, and why the U.S. can't grow enough of it, especially organic garlic, no matter how hard we try. So buckle up. This one's flavorful and factual.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
It sounds like the sequel to Die Hard. It's called Garlic.
Garlic.
The movie.
One man. Christmas Eve.
That's going to be me later when I have to eat all this
stuff
garlic that's on your desk, I'm seeing.
So the social media team brought in a bunch of garlic for you to try.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that part of the show.
My wife's going to be pissed. She always says, when I go to Dodger Stadium and eat the garlic fries, and I come home and I think I'm like, brush my teeth really well. She's like, no, it comes out of your pores. I can smell it in bed.
Yeah, we're gonna be smelling tonight. I like it.
Absolutely.
We were talking earlier about like what the Gen A's are saying.
Yeah.
What did you say? Put a fry on it?
I said put the fries in the bag.
Okay.
And
Put the
then you
fries in the
said-
bag. And I said let them cook.
Let them cook.
So let them cook comes. Did you notice I'm wearing my master's hat
Your
today?
master's hat. I didn't know you were so bougie, Rob.
So Jonathan gave me this master's hat, everyone. That's why I'm wearing it in honor of my friend here who appreciates that I am a big enthusiast of the Masters.
Big.
So, so thanks for it.
Yeah, you're
first
welcome.
of all.
You're
So
welcome.
let them cook comes from a guy named Min Woo Lee. He's from Australia.
Okay.
He is a golfer. He's probably like 25.
Okay.
And he's a big social media guy. And he's the one that said, let them cook. And he meant like hit the ball hard. On his social media, let them cook. It has now gone totally viral.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook.
I mean, the kids are saying let them cook all over the baseball field right
Sure.
now. Oh, he's cooking. Let him cook. Let him cook. It's just some golfer that decided on a social media post to say, let him cook. And
Okay.
that's what he says.
All
So
right.
anyway, the culture of golf is going to make it to this podcast. I
All right.
promise.
I like it. We have Freddie with us. I figured, why not?
My Lord and Savior, Freddie
Your Lord and
Freeman.
Savior, Freddie Freeman. You know, I saw this interview that he did recently. It was like a week or two ago, and he was talking about how I guess maybe his wife was out of town or something, and he was in charge of his boys. And they were saying, like, did you do anything interesting or fun for spring break or something to that effect? And he was like, well, I got the boys up. I got them ready for school. We drove to school, realized that it was spring break and they don't have school. So then I figured, well, it's be too long to drive them back home. So I just brought them to the stadium with me. While we were driving to the stadium, they both got car sick and vomited in the car. So he was like, so that was my day today.
I want to be the son of Freddie Freeman. Or Min Woo Lee. Like, I'm just saying that the lifestyle that you get in athletics and sports has got to be, it's got to be a good life.
Yeah.
You know, I know they have the problems and they wipe their butt like everybody else, and they puke in the car.
Yeah. That was the thing I loved about that Freddie Freeman interview. I was like, he's just a guy just like everybody else.
He is, but he had somebody clean that puke up for him.
100%.
He just went into the Dodger dugout, looked at that peon dude in the clubhouse and was just like, hey, man,
Yeah.
can you go look at the backseat of my car?
Yeah. There's something that needs your attention.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
So Freddie Freeman, if you're watching this, we're right here in South Pasadena. Huge fans. We'd love to have you on the podcast.
Come on the podcast and talk about organic spices.
Yeah.
I'm sure he likes a good garlic fry as much as anybody else. And today we're talking about garlic. Right?
Before we get into the heart of this episode,
Yeah.
I need to introduce a little another part of this episode that I want to do on a regular basis: dissemination of information.
Okay.
It's obviously important to me that that information be accurate and correct. And so I have two corrections. And
Okay, yeah. Whatever we said on the podcast, you're going to go back and say, hey, if
Exactly.
we said the wrong thing, we're going to.
Yeah, when I up.
Okay, so when you up, we're going to then go back and retract it. How did you find out you screwed up?
We had one video that went viral.
Okay.
I guess you could say viral.
Sure.
For our social media ladies, how many views are we on that?
I think like 160,000.
160,000.
Is that viral? That's viral.
Hey, so for OG Spice Guy, that's not too bad.
It's a medium-sized V on
Yeah.
viral. But yeah, so it blew up.
Blew up.
Which one was it? You do a lot of
So
them.
it was the one where you and I were talking. You asked me which is stricter, the United States or Europe in terms of organic.
Yeah.
And I said the U.S. Yeah, I was wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was surprised, right?
I was wrong.
Okay.
And in that video specifically, I'm talking about how in the EU, and I mentioned Switzerland, and I talk about cows. So first apology here is to my viewers in the EU and in Switzerland. Switzerland is not part of the EU. My bad.
Yes, they're
My
not
bad.
a part of anything,
Yeah.
right? They are Switzerland.
And I should have known that.
I should have, yeah.
That was my fault. So
Okay.
but here's my sincere apology. Second part is I said that the cows in the EU, aka Switzerland,
Yeah.
just kidding, are allowed one antibiotic injection as a prophylactic measure to prevent disease. I was totally wrong.
Oh, okay.
So I think what happened was I was at a trade show and talking to some of these dairy, suppliers of this non-fat dry milk powder that we were looking for, and somebody told me that, and I just ran with it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I didn't fact check it. So hey, I'm human. I made a mistake. I've since realized that cows that are part of an organic herd
Okay.
are not allowed antibiotics. If they get sick, the welfare of the animal is obviously, takes priority. And the rancher, the farmer, can give them an antibiotic injection. But in some cases, that would then make that animal no longer organic.
No longer a valid organic card-carrying cow.
Yeah, an organic card carrying.
So seriously, the cow is sick.
Yeah.
In the EU,
Yeah.
they say put the life of the cow.
Yeah. And in the United States, too.
And in
It's
the United
same.
States, okay,
Yeah.
great. Put the life of the cow first. It just means then this cow is not going to be a part of the select few that are organic.
That are organic.
All right, but he
Right.
can go to the conventional
Yeah.
side. And I wonder if there is a limit to how much antibiotics we give to conventional stuff.
cows.
I mean,
yeah.
that's
It's a good point. I don't know.
Did you get like comments and that's why
Man. I got comments that were, typical American, doesn't know the difference. And I was like, oh, man, I was being a typical American.
Yeah, but that's cool. Look, you have a podcast, so you have a responsibility to you've stopped it right there.
Yeah. Second one,
Yes.
and this came from a close friend of mine that's in the organic food industry. On episode 1, we were talking about saffron. And I said that saffron is the stigma of
An orchid.
an orchid.
That's what we said on
That's
the podcast.
right.
That
an
wasn't
orchid.
right?
It's not an orchid.
Oh.
It is a crocus,
Ah.
which doesn't even look like an orchid. So I don't know why I had orchids on the brain. But I
Wild
did.
Orchid, it's a big show right now. Everybody's watching it.
Very true.
No, that's White Lotus.
White Lotus.
Never mind.
See, now
So-
you're getting all the plants confused.
I am.
I
White
was
Lotus
like, wild
is
orchid. I haven't heard of that one.
orchids, lotuses, and I don't even
Crocus.
know crocuses. They're all the same thing. Thanks for our social media public for setting the records.
Setting the record straight, and so that was my bad. I misquoted the wrong plant. So saffron is from a crocus, not an orchid,
And
not a lotus either.
not a lotus
Yeah,
either.
that's
All right,
something
cool.
different.
Well, thanks for that. I
All
think
right.
since we're going to be influencing people so well on
Yeah,
this podcast,
I have
and
to be
people are going to be
accurate.
taking, just like you took for granted what the guy at the trade show told you.
Correct.
Clearly, there are people that are walking around right now saying that America is better than the EU.
Right.
That's okay.
Right. So
You're on record now.
all right. Well, that concludes our corrections and retractions.
Okay,
part of the
great.
Podcast. Garlic, or scientific name Allium sativum.
Ah, sativa.
Yes. So it's believed to have first been cultivated in parts of what is now modern day Iran and Turkmenistan.
Okay.
It spread across continents via, trade and migration. But in terms of actually modern farming, China owns the garlic game. China produces over 80% of the world's garlic. It is really a global monopoly with this one little bulb. So let's talk about how garlic grows in China.
I mean, clearly we're going to be talking, I know, later about tariffs in this whole conversation, because you just said that China owns 80% of the market for garlic.
Yep, and garlic tariffs specifically are a big, big deal.
Okay, so that's where we're going to get to.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, great.
100%.
Okay, so keep going.
Yeah. So in China, I have a question for you. Do you know how garlic is planted?
In the ground.
Yes, garlic grows in the ground.
I don't know. So there's no, because there's not a seed in garlic.
There's not a seed for garlic.
Is it a seed?
It is not. So garlic is grown from another clove of garlic. So that is called vegetatively propagated.
Okay.
You know what other vegetable?
Roots. So a potato, I guess.
Potato,
is the same.
exactly.
Okay.
Vegetatively propagated, just like Mark Watney did in that movie, The Martian.
Yes.
He grew more potatoes from potatoes in his own
Got
poop.
it. Yeah, in his own poop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. We should ask some people if that's possible, what he did for real.
I don't know. See, that's why we need Mythbusters back.
Yeah.
They should bring those guys back on the air.
That's
I
a good
love
idea.
That show.
I do too.
So when garlic is planted, it is done so with a clove of the actual bulb. So from one generation to the next, and that preserves all the characteristics of that garlic. So from crop to crop to crop, it's very ubiquitous. It's very same color, size, shape, texture.
Okay.
In China, garlic is planted in the fall, usually around October or November. It lies dormant in the cold of the winter, and then it reactivates in the spring. So when we were in China, it was really cool. We went in around October after they had just planted.
Yep.
And all the garlic, the rows and rows of garlic, they have this kind of stretch plastic that they put over it. And it helps with pests a little bit, but it's mostly to keep the heat. So it almost forms like a mini greenhouse. Mm-hmm. So it keeps the heat around the plant because obviously it's about to head into the cold winter months. But as the garlic starts to sprout and you have the little sprigs that start to poke through, they have all these people that walk in the fields and they have these long sticks with a little hook on the end. And their job is to poke a little tiny hole in the plastic so the garlic shoots can poke through the plastic.
And it finds the hole probably?
Yep. Yeah, just put it close enough and then it finds the hole and pokes on through. So, we'll talk about this a little later in the episode, but this is one of the many parts of the Chinese culture that's literally built around the garlic industry, is they have people that are trained just to do this one thing. Anyway, getting back to it, around May, June, the bulbs are ready to harvest. You get about one harvest per year, and that growth cycle can take around 8 to 9 months. At HQO, garlic is our number one selling ingredient. And the reason being is because it goes into so many different types of food products. So when I cook at home, we use fresh garlic. That's a new
title.
Yeah, garlic.
Garlic in a jar.
Garlic in
Nobody's
a jar.
ever thought of that.
It's garlic. It's garlic in a jar.
So,
When I cook at home, we use diced garlic that's been, put in a jar. And, you just grab it by a spoonful, add it right to your pan.
We do that too.
It's super easy. My dad, who you met last episode, Dr. OG Spice, really doesn't like it when I do that.
Oh, really?
He said
he wants
he's
you
a
to
purist.
He's
a purist. Yeah. So he's like, you got to get the garlic. You got to peel it by hand. Then your hands smell like garlic for a week. Which, interesting tip. Do you know how to get that stinky garlic smell off your fingers?
Don't know.
Stainless steel. So if you have a stainless steel sink, like maybe in your kitchen, if you rub your fingertips on the stainless steel sink,
it gets rid of garlic.
It gets rid of, and then wash them with soap and warm water. It gets rid of the garlic.
Okay, I'm going to try.
So much so that my wife bought a stainless steel. It looks like a bar of soap, but it's a stainless steel like bar of soap.
Okay, that's cool.
And we use that and put a little soap on our hands, and there's some chemical reaction. It pulls it out of your fingertips.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows how much you guys cook with garlic. If you've got a soap of steel.
Oh, yeah. Soap of steel. Exactly. So here's another garlic fact, fun fact. Did you know that the finer you chop or crush garlic, the stronger it tastes?
That's what I was asking
Yes.
earlier. So I would
Yes.
think even the difference from a pulverized total powder like
Yep.
flour to
Yep.
the granules,
Yep.
that the granules aren't going to taste as potent as
potent.
Yes.
And I think this especially applies to fresh garlic, and it's because crushing it activates the enzyme that releases all those bold flavors. So minced garlic is going to be way more intense than a whole clove. So here's a pro tip, that if you want a mellow garlic flavor, leave the cloves whole or just smash them lightly.
Okay.
The finer you crush them up, the more intense that flavor is. So let's talk about the numbers and get the real on how garlic production breaks down globally and why the U.S., you can't just simply say, well, just grow garlic in the United States. Garlic does grow in the United States, but we'll get into the data. But before we get into the data,
Yes.
I need my whiteboard.
Oh, could somebody bring us the whiteboard?
I need a
real quick?
whiteboard.
Oh, Maximus is doing it.
This is where Lonnie calls me Professor Bingleton. She's like, oh, God, Professor Bingleton's going to come out.
You do have teaching genes.
I do.
So this is Professor Spice. That's what we call this. What did she call you? Professor Dieseldorf? What did she say?
She calls me Professor Bingleton because then I get like really, I guess, high and mighty.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, listen to what I'm going to say. This is important.
Okay.
So
I'm listening. I
we're
can see you good.
So we'll start with the heavyweights. Biggest guy in the room, China.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of sketch this out here. So China produces 23 million tons of garlic a year. Now remember, a ton is 2,200 pounds.
Is it 2,200 or is it just 2,000? Is that right? It's going to be future corrections and retractions, I'm predicting. Isn't it just 2,000 pounds? Maybe you're...
A metric ton.
Oh,
metric ton.
Thank you.
Metric ton. Yeah.
Thank
sorry.
you.
Okay, so China produces 23 million tons of garlic each year.
Okay.
After China, India. So India is at 2.5 million
All right. A big 20 million less.
tons. Yes,
Huge.
exactly. And after that is Egypt. Egypt is 500,000
Tons.
tons. Yep.
Metric tons.
Metric tons.
Yep.
Yes. So now let's talk about California.
Okay.
How much do you think California produces in tons?
Are they the next one? Are there other ones? But California.
They're the next one.
Okay. California is 250,000 tons, I would say.
Close. 183,000.
Okay. Compared to China, dude.
Look at the difference compared to China.
Okay.
Massive
Yeah.
difference. So to review, China, 23 million tons. India, 2.5 million. Egypt, 500,000. And California, 183,000 tons produced annually. This is fresh, right? This is all
Yeah.
fresh weight.
Yep.
So let's talk about consumption in the United States. And this is going to kind of dovetail into our conversation on tariffs.
Got it.
In the United States, the U.S. consumes around 2.5 pounds of garlic per person annually.
Okay.
So that works out to roughly 418,000 tons.
That we consume in America.
418,000 tons
Of garlic.
of garlic.
But we
produce in California. California is the largest growing region of garlic in the country, central California, 183,000.
So we're
But we
at a
consume
deficit
400.
here.
We're in a huge deficit. So yes, we got some Christopher Ranch garlic. It's probably one of the most popular and well-known garlic farms in the country. And a lot of Christopher Ranch garlic and other garlic producers in California go into the fresh market. So things like this pickled whole garlic cloves. The majority of the domestic garlic is going for these applications. It's really not going for the dehydrated garlic like what, HQO does.
Right.
And a lot of your food is produced with dehydrated garlic. And
Again,
spices, for that matter.
every time I go to an Italian restaurant, they have huge bags of garlic powder. That's what you sell.
Oh, sure.
Just
Yeah.
that's tons of bags.
50-pound bag
Yeah.
of garlic powder.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I'm kind of trying to illustrate the point here that we're consuming 418,000 tons. We're only producing a little less than 200,000. So there's a deficit. This is the reason why that it is not able to be produced in the United States. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, why can't we just grow more?
Grow more, sure. So in the United States, we have available farmland, about 900 million acres of farmland. But over 180 million of those acres are grown corn and soy. That's because that's where the subsidies go.
Yes.
Corn and soy, those are the biggest grains and crops that are grown here in the United States. Garlic, especially organic garlic, is labor heavy in terms of planting, harvesting, peeling. A lot of this is done by hand. Here's another interesting side note. I mentioned peeling garlic. Do you know the little trick on how to peel garlic?
I know a couple. I know one.
Okay, how do you do it?
So number one, you just crush it with
Yeah.
your knife, and
Yeah.
then you can do it. But I've also seen where you can take it in a jar.
Yeah.
And just
Exactly. Put a couple of cloves in there, and then you shake it really violently.
Yeah.
The peel, that paper peel, comes off.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
TikTok. I have TikTok to thank for
TikTok, baby.
for that hack.
All right, so getting back to it.
Yes.
Labor costs, right? So this is the other thing, is in China you have these communities. So like one of our growers is in the Shandong province. There are entire communities, ecosystems that are built around garlic, the planting, harvesting, and exporting of garlic. So they have the people that are trained on how to do this. So, but the biggest thing is the acres, is that we just don't have enough acres that are dedicated to growing a somewhat specialized crop like garlic. They're going where the subsidies are. Soy and corn.
Is the climate good enough here, or is it?
So the climate in California is great.
Okay.
It's great for for garlic in general, because we have so much sunshine throughout the year, but it's becoming harder. So climate pressure, especially in California for garlic, water shortages, drought, wildfires, they are making that garlic production more and more difficult year over year. So yeah, getting back to the infrastructure, China's garlic supply from farm to drying to export is streamlined, and it really is specialized for growing the garlic. And we just don't have that scale here, and building it would take decades.
That's what people need to hear.
Yeah.
I think.
So really, so when folks say we should just grow it all here, I say, look at the math. Even if we wanted to, we physically couldn't meet the demand, especially for organic garlic, without imports. So let's zoom out for a second. Garlic is one of the oldest, most beloved ingredients on earth, but it's also a crop that shows us just how interconnected our food system is. When we talk about food security, we also need to talk about collaboration, realistic planning, and global partnerships. So China's garlic isn't replacing America's garlic. It's simply complementing it. It's helping meet a growing demand for clean, organic, and flavorful food. And I think the main takeaway here is don't fear the import. Embrace the garlic diversity and keep asking these kind of questions. I mean, they really do matter. Now I think it was 145%, and then it jumped to 245%. So garlic, given that it's in everything that is savory has garlic, this is where American consumers are going to feel the impact the soonest. When we start talking about this tariffs, everybody's like, oh, well, the price of your cars are going to get more expensive. When was the last time you bought a car?
Yeah, like 19.
Right? So the average American, I don't know, that's 5 years, 10 years. How often do you buy food?
Every day.
Every single day. And this is the point that I really wanted to drive home is American consumers in a couple of weeks, Rob, are going to be, so we're filming this episode here at the end of April.
Yeah.
And tariffs have been a very real discussion since a topic for conversation since February.
Yeah.
Right. So at HQO, we're starting to get containers that are being tariffed. So the rest of the world is being tariffed at 10%. And China right now is at 145. And then depending on when your containers hit, they could be up to this 245%. So just to give you an idea, we on average on a commercial scale, we sell garlic around $4 a pound right now.
Okay.
And that's with the additional 20% tariffs that already hit us. That means that $4, it can easily go up to, with 145% tariff, can easily go up to $8, $9 a pound. And remember, it's the basis of all this food. Not to mention all the other tariffs that are impacting all the other ingredients that are going into whatever, thing you're buying from the market. It's food. The American consumer is going to feel these tariffs in food first and foremost. And garlic, again, is a good example as to how and why you're going to feel that impact, because it goes into everything. We do not have enough garlic here in the United States. We import the majority of the garlic that we use.
Onions are the same?
Onions are in the same boat.
Yeah. So if everything has garlic and onions in it, I mean,
Right.
you're just saying, you think your eggs are expensive now.
Right.
This touches everything you eat. Every time you
Everything.
go out to eat, there's garlic in it.
There's garlic in it. There's onions in it. The other thing that's super popular is black pepper.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't even gotten into the economics of black pepper, but black pepper does not grow in the United States. All of our black pepper is imported from 3 countries: Vietnam, Indonesia, and Brazil. And those countries right now are being hit with a 10% tariff.
Yeah.
So you guys, you're going to see this hit so fast and so hard, and you're going to start. You remember during COVID when things got super expensive? We're going right back to that if these are not relaxed.
And inflation then set in, and now my food costs way more than before
costs more.
COVID.
So
It's going to get worse.
Now it's
Yeah.
going to get worse. And again, to reiterate the point, you're going to see it in food first.
That's a good point.
I wanted to get through the actual volume and present logical data to say, oh, China's taking American garlic or American garlic chips. No, it's not. We are clearly consuming all of this California garlic, but we want more. So we have to import it.
Yeah. And I say somebody like me didn't realize that it's a real estate problem, and we're
Right.
not going to win against soy because of the subsidies. So
Subsidies, right.
they're not subsidizing garlic here, and
Right.
and
Right. And this is the case amongst most spices. We'll just grow it in America. Well, cinnamon requires a really hot, humid environment that you find in Southeast Asia. Show me in the United States, where are we going to get that? Where we get, maybe in the deep South,
Florida,
maybe Florida, but Florida gets cold too during the winter.
Totally
right?
does.
It doesn't happen that way in Vietnam or Indonesia. So there are some of these products that you simply cannot grow in the United States.
Numbers wise, okay, so right now when we're taping 145%. Hints of 245.
Yep.
You told me about the other. Yep. So you guys all of a sudden just have to pay 200 times what you were paying for yesterday,
so that
and
was
then your bottom line has to be affected.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
of course it is. This is a lot of conversation. I can't tell you how many social media videos where people are saying, "Oh, it's China that's going to pay this tax. It's China." No, it's not. It comes to America. So the way that imports happen is one of 2 ways. So either the supplier, so in our case it's the Chinese, are paying a delivered price, in which case, yes, China is paying for the tax. But just because they're paying for it, what do you think they're going to do to my price? They're going to increase my price. They increase my price, I have to pass that along. I don't have enough margin in my business. Food industry is not, it's not super sexy. You don't make a lot of money in the food industry.
Yeah.
So you have to pass that on to, in my case, it's the food manufacturers. It's the people that are producing your packaged goods.
got it.
And so I pass the price along to them. What are they going to do? They're going to pass the price along to you. And you are the final step in the food chain, right? You're the end consumer. So you are going to eat it. There's another one. I just came up with that one.
Yeah, it's good.
So the other option is, as the importer, I pay the tariffs. And that is where, right, I have to pay the tax as the U.S. importing company. The same thing is also true. I've paid the tax. My cost of product has gone up. I have to pass that along.
When does the difference, when they're paying it versus you're paying it, or you both paying it?
It depends on the negotiated terms between you and your supplier. Sometimes it's, hey, I'll clear goods and customs. Sometimes they're saying, hey, I'll do it. I'll clear goods and customs, and I'm providing you with what we call a delivered price.
Okay. Yeah.
But either way, it's going to get passed on to me, the American importer.
Yeah.
And then I have to pass it on. So I just want to set the record straight from somebody who's literally living in this, who is paying these tariffs right now, again, in real time. This is real. This is happening. I just wanted to kind of dispel all these myths that, oh, it's the Chinese or it's the other countries that pay it. It is not. It is here. It hits us in America.
And in America, we can't grow the garlic that we consume, so we have to get it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing because China produces so much that they are probably the cheapest source for you guys.
They are. Cost of labor is China's probably the cheapest in the world, maybe followed by India and then Egypt. So China makes sense because it is a cheaper cost of labor, and they're just so good at it. It's their whole culture, their cities, their villages are built around the production of these.
Your business is built around knowing that and researching it.
Correct.
So yes, you have suppliers in China. I know you went and visited them last year, but you then also diversify when you need to, right?
Yeah.
And so
So yeah, absolutely. Right now we're looking at other countries. So we're pivoting to India, not completely, but we're getting samples and we're kind of starting the whole process. But there is a difference in quality and color from Indian garlic to Chinese. It's not the same.
Wow.
So the flavor is going to be different. The species that they grow in India is different. And of course, it's an entirely different country with a different landscape, different soil, different climate. So it all that goes into the quality of the product. So that's it for today's spicy deep dive, garlic truth bombs, farming facts, and hopefully a fresh perspective on global flavor supply. If you learned something today, share the love. Send this episode to a fellow nerd, a chef, or policy junkie. Tag me at OG Spice Guy, and let's keep the convo going. And hey, keep seasoning your life with curiosity. I'll catch you on the next one right here at the OG Spice Guy Show.
The OG Spice Guy Show is recorded and produced by Hey Babe Media in South Pasadena, California, in association with HQ Organics, America's leading provider of organic spices. Today's episode was produced by Rob Clyde, associate producer Max Flora. It was engineered and edited by Drew Unser. The assistant editor is Andrew Weinstock, set design by Shen Heckel, web and SEO by Rebecca McDonald, and graphics by Michelle Esteva. Social media services are provided by Noel Mercer and Sophia Sherman of Soel Social. You can DM and follow us on all platforms and socials at OG Spice Guy.
So, growing organic garlic is even more labor intensive.
You want to say that again without the burp?
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to cover that up. I didn't know if that was obvious.